Some parents are the reason their female children are spoiled more than all that. When you are too overprotective of your child, just be rest assured that that child is bound to misbehave sooner or later. Something happened to me recently and I thought I should share it because someone out there can learn from this. Last week, a friend of mine, we were friends when we were in the university. After graduation, everyone departed and we communicate once in a while. So this lady told the parents that she was coming to school to process some of her stuff in school. That was on Friday last week. And before she left the house, she told the parents she was coming to my side because after graduation, I didn't leave town. I stayed back because of work. So she told the parents she was coming to stay with me while she processed her stuff in school. So she traveled on Friday. When she got here, according to the parents, she called the parents and told them that she was with me. Following day, which was on Saturday, the parents tried to call and her phone was off. On Sunday, the same thing, they tried to call her phone was off. They couldn't get through to her. On Monday morning, the same thing. So the parents were worried, considering the insecurity in this country. They thought something bad might have happened to her, stuff like that. So they were worried. Then they had to call our course rep, ask him if he knew any charity from school or stuff like that. Then the course rep called me on Monday very early in the morning, around 6 thereabouts. When I saw his call, I was kind of surprised because the call, it was too early in the morning. So I picked the call. The first thing he asked me was, is this also person with me? I didn't want to mention and I'm sorry. Then I said no. Why? That she has been missing for 2 days now. And before she left the house, she told the parents she was coming to my place to stay with me to process her stuff in school. I said no. Though she called me, she was coming to school to do stuff in school, but she didn't tell me she was coming to stay with me. I told him that. He was like, So why would she lie to the parents she was coming to my side if she was not coming to stay with me? So at that particular point in time, I was scared because I've seen such situation and the end result is always not good. So at that point, I was scared for her and I was scared for myself. If anything should happen to that girl now, I would be the first suspect. You know how this country is. So immediately I started making calls. I called some of my friends in Abuja, those that were very, very close to her when we were in school. I called them. Then one of my friends told me that she also called her on Friday that she was coming to school, but she didn't tell her who she was going to stay with. I called her best friend in school then. She told me that it's been long she heard from her. I was scared. I'm the only one here. My parents are not here. Where do I go from here? What kind of trouble is this one? I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I went to work. I couldn't stay at home alone. I was scared. I was crying. So I had to go to work. I shared the situation with my co-workers at work. They were like, are you the only charity? That should just calm down. Even that Friday, I was at work throughout that day. So they were like, they would be my weakness if this whole thing blows up. So throughout that day, I was crying at work. The father called. I didn't know what to do. I called. I was crying. Then later in the evening, around 5, thereabout, her best friend called me that she just spoke to her just now, that I should call her now. So I tried her line and her line went. She picked. What happened? I asked her what happened. Why was your phone off all this while? She told me that her battery was dead, blah, blah, blah. So for 2 days, your battery was dead and you could not charge it or anything like that. She told me there was no light, you know. Then I asked her, what did you tell your family before you left the house? You told them you were coming to stay with me. Meanwhile, you didn't tell or call to tell me anything like that. Why did you do that? And you know the most surprising thing? When she first picked my call, the first thing she asked me was, what did I tell the parents? She was not even bothered about me. She was not like, she didn't care that I was going through something. Now, what did I tell the parents? Then I asked her, what did you expect me to tell your parents? Did you tell me you were coming to stay with me? What did you expect? Then she started shouting, Jesus, Jesus. I called the father and told him, I just spoke with your daughter, just try and call her. Then he said, okay. I ended the call. So I called the father back and I told him, I don't like what your daughter did to me and what I'm going through right now. I'm not this kind of person your daughter is trying to paint me to be. I'm not. I'm from a decent and a good family. I don't behave like that. And the father was like, he understands that he's very sorry about everything, that he was going to call me back. Then when I got back from work in the evening, he sent me a text apologizing and all that. So, what is the essence of sharing this story? When this girl was in the university, like her dad was too overprotective. The dad didn't want her to have roommates. Like she didn't have any roommates till she graduated. Her father used to come from the village down to school every weekend to check on her, to make sure she's not squatting with anybody, nobody is squatting with her, she's not with nobody and stuff like that. Like she didn't have any breathing space when she was in school. Now opportunity was given to her and she took it. She wanted to explore. It's not all about stopping your children from going out, caging them in the house, for them not to do anything, not to mingle, not to socialize with people. If you do that, you are only spoiling things, because if any opportunity is given to them to misbehave, they will misbehave. So the only thing you can do for your children as parents is to guide them, advise them, tell them this is what you should do so that your life can end well. Be a model to your children. If you live well as a parent, your children will also live well. So caging your children and restricting their movements, you don't want them to socialize, will not do your child any good. If you as a parent, you live your life well, your children will definitely emulate you because they will want to end like you. Be a model to your children, not to cage them, not to not allow them to socialize with people.